My name is Kara, and at 35 years old, while I was working a double shift at the hospital, my parents and my sister made my 11-year-old daughter clean their house for 5 hours as a dare. Then they sent her to bed without dinner. I didn't yell. I did this. 9 days later, they were the ones scrubbing the floor in panic. If you have ever felt betrayed by the people who should have been your biggest supporters, let me know where you are watching from. I got off the night shift with legs that felt like half-cooked spaghetti and a headache that had settled behind my right eye like it paid rent. All I wanted was to pick up my daughter Mia, crawl into bed, and maybe, if I was lucky, lose consciousness without dreaming about patient charts or buzzing monitors. I'd barely pulled into the driveway when my sister Rachel opened the door and waved like we were best friends. "They had a blast yesterday," she said, bouncing down the steps with a travel mug in hand. "Total bonding moment. You're gonna laugh when you hear." That was the first red flag. I've known Rachel for 38 years, and in all that time, I've never laughed at anything she thought was funny. I parked and got out, smiling, because that's what you do when your jaw is tight with suspicion. "What kind of bonding?" I asked. "Oh, just a silly family game. Dare cards. It got a little competitive, but you know Mia, she really wanted to join." Something about the way she said it, like Mia had forced her way into fun that wasn't meant for her, put a knot in my stomach. Rachel leaned in, like she was about to deliver a punchline. "Honestly, you should try it at the hospital. Never seen a kid scrub baseboards that fast." I stopped smiling. "She was cleaning?" Rachel laughed. "Just her dare, no big deal. She's up in the guest room, probably still recovering from being a total cleaning machine." I headed toward the house without another word. The guest room smelled like lemon cleaner and something faintly sour, like sweat left in a shirt too long. Mia was sitting on the edge of the pull-out couch, already dressed, arms wrapped around her knees. Her hoodie sleeves were pulled down past her hands. She looked up when I came in and tried to smile. "Hey, Mama?" She didn't look like a kid who'd had a blast. "Ready to head home?" I asked. She nodded. "Yeah." But she didn't stand up. Just sat there like she was waiting for something, bracing for it. I sat down beside her. "You okay?" She hesitated. "Can I ask you something kind of dumb?" "Of course." She stared at the floor. "In a dare game, is it normal to get chores, like real ones?" I kept my voice light. "Depends. What kind of chores?" I cleaned the stairs, and the kitchen, and the windows, and the bathroom sink, and Oliver's room. That was round 3. He said his dare was playing a video game. I blinked. "You cleaned your cousin's room while he played a video game?" "He said it was a time-based challenge." I bit the inside of my cheek so I wouldn't say what I was thinking. "Okay," I said slowly. "That's a lot of cleaning. You drew all those cards?" She nodded. "Every time. They said the cards were random, but I got cleaning every round." "How many rounds?" "Like maybe 6. I stopped counting." My throat tightened. "And the others?" "Fun stuff, like wearing socks on their hands, jumping on the bed, talking in rhymes." Oliver had to pretend to be a spy. He used a banana as a walkie-talkie. "Of course he did." She gave a weak smile. "They told me I had to do every dare. I pulled no skipping as I begged to join, so I said yes. I didn't want to be the only one not playing." I felt a cold knot form in my chest. I'd seen it before, compliance disguised as permission. I reached for her hand. That's when I noticed the blister, angry, raw, just under her thumb. "Did you tell anyone this was hurting?" "I didn't want to lose." I swallowed hard. "What was the last task?" "The guest bathroom. I did most of it, but I didn't finish the floor. The sponge kept slipping." She looked down again. "They said if I didn't finish, I didn't win. And if I didn't win, I didn't get dinner." I froze. "You didn't eat?" She shook her head. "I found a granola bar in my bag. I think it was from last week." She said it like she was proud of herself for solving a problem. I sat perfectly still. If I moved, I was afraid I'd start screaming. Downstairs, my mom was rinsing mugs in the sink. Rachel was scrolling her phone, legs tucked up on the couch like she lived there, which she did. "Hey," I said, trying not to sound like I was holding back a tidal wave. "Can we talk about the dare game?" Rachel perked up. "She told you? Wasn't it hilarious?" "She told me she cleaned the house for 5 hours." "Well, okay, not the whole house, just her dares, and not 5, maybe 4 tops." "Rachel." She rolled her eyes. "She wanted to play. We warned her, no backing out. You should have seen her. She was into it. She cleaned Oliver's room while he played a game. That was a great dare. It was time-based. She got a high score in dusting, I think." I looked at my mom. You were here for all of this? She seemed happy, my mom said, not quite meeting my eyes. She wanted to be included. She has a blister, I said. Rachel waved her hand. Please, one little blister. You should see what my kids do in gym class. Builds character. And the dinner? She didn't finish the last dare. That was the rule. I stared at her. You made her think if she didn't scrub your bathroom floor perfectly, she didn't deserve food? She agreed to the rules. I laughed once, sharp and humorless. You know, I said, I always wondered how you got away with making me clean your room growing up. Guess I finally figured it out. Rachel raised an eyebrow. What's your problem? It was a game. I smiled. That's what you're calling it now? She smirked. If you're nice, I'll tell you the secret. Never call it a chore, call it a challenge. I nodded once, turned on my heel, and walked out the front door before I broke something. Mia was already buckled in. I didn't start the car right away. She looked over at me and said, Was I stupid for believing it was a game? No, I said, but they were stupid for thinking I'd let it go. And I meant it, because 9 days later, they were the ones panicking and scrubbing the floor. They used to call it the sister code. It wasn't written down anywhere, but Rachel recited it like scripture. Good sisters do each other's chores. Good sisters cover for each other. Good sisters don't tattle. I was 7, she was 12. I didn't know yet that code was just another word for trap. Once, she convinced me that it was a sacred family tradition to take turns cleaning the toilet. Our grandmother had done it for her sister. Apparently our great-grandmother, too. I only found out months later that Rachel had invented the whole thing. Grandma nearly choked on her coffee when I mentioned it, but by then I'd already scrubbed the toilet twice. That was the beginning of a very long pattern. My parents called Rachel clever. They called me emotional. She would hide things, break things, blame me, then sit back and watch the performance unfold. She once got me grounded for stealing her diary, which I never touched. She'd just hidden it behind the couch and pointed at me. You must have taken it, she said with wide eyes. Kara always acts guilty when she's lying. I wasn't lying. I was just always guilty, at least in their eyes. And when I cried, my mom would say, Oh, honey, you have got to toughen up. By the time I moved out, I thought I'd escaped it. I got a scholarship, became a nurse, fell in love with a man who actually listened when I spoke. I built something that looked like a normal life. Quiet, steady, free from pranks disguised as love. When Mia was born, I promised myself it would be different. No games, no guilt-wrapped obedience, no sister code. But the funny thing about generational patterns is how quietly they wait for the next opening, especially if you don't burn the bridge behind you. And I didn't. Not completely. My parents still lived in the house I grew up in. So did Rachel. She never left. Not really. She married, divorced, moved back in with 3 kids and a rotating list of excuses. She called it multi-generational harmony. I called it cheap rent with extra manipulation. Her kids, ages 11, 13, and 15, were loud, charismatic, and weirdly good at performing innocence, just like their mother. Mia idolized them. She was my only child, quieter, thoughtful, a little bit like I'd been, minus the trauma. She loved drawing, baking, and hanging out with kids who made her feel like she belonged, which of course made her a perfect target. The first time she came home upset after a weekend with them, she said it was because she lost a game. I asked, what kind of game? She hesitated. They were pretending to be spies, and I had to be the villain because I was the last to join. Did you want to be the villain? She shrugged. Someone had to be, and I got to do stuff like mop the hallway. That was my evil plan. My stomach sank. But then she changed the subject, told me about the cookies Grandma let her bake, said she was fine. She always said she was fine. Another time she came back with marker all over her arms. They said it was a tattoo dare, she explained, like initiation. I stared at the childish scribbles up and down her forearms. But why only you? They already did theirs earlier, she said too quickly. I asked if she had fun. She paused. Sort of. I just want them to like me. That night, I lay awake wondering if I was overreacting. My mother's voice echoed in my head. Don't be so dramatic, Kara. You always read into things. If I let it go, I wish I hadn't. The week before the cleaning incident, Mia called me from the kitchen phone quietly while the others were outside. They're playing the dare game again, she whispered. Are you playing too? No, they said I have to earn it first. How? I don't know. Tyler said they're still deciding. I asked if she wanted me to come get her. She said no. I asked if she was okay. She said yes. But when I asked what she'd done that day, she said she helped Grandma organize the pantry because she was waiting her turn to be allowed to join, to be humiliated. I should have gone to get her. Instead, I finished my night shift. I told myself she was safe with family. That word feels like acid in my mouth now. When I told Mia the game was rigged, she just blinked at me. "No, I don't think so," she said. "They let me shuffle." That hurt more than I expected, because it meant she still thought fairness was possible in that house, that if she just shuffled hard enough, smiled enough, cleaned enough, she'd earn her place. But I didn't say that. I sat down next to her and asked her to walk me through it again fully, from the beginning. She bit her lip, thinking. "Okay. So there were 6 of us playing, me, the 3 cousins, and Aunt Rachel and Grandpa joined for the first round." Of course he did. And the rule was, you pull a dare and you have to do it. No backing out or you're out. "And what were some of the dares?" I asked. She started listing them, fingers tapping against her jeans. Tyler had to make up a dance. Layla had to prank call a fast food place. Oliver had to play his favorite video game for 10 minutes. Rachel had to balance a spoon on her nose. "And you?" "I got clean the stairs, then wipe the windows, then vacuum the hallway, then organize the shoes, then clean Oliver's room." My throat tightened. "That's 5 rounds," I said. "And all 5 of yours were chores?" She nodded. "Did that seem weird to you?" She shrugged. "I thought it was bad luck." I was quiet for a moment. Then I asked, "When you were cleaning Oliver's room, what was he doing?" She didn't answer, but I saw it in her face. She finally got it. The next morning, I drove back to the house. I didn't tell anyone I was coming. I didn't knock. I let myself in with the spare key. They still hadn't bothered to hide properly. The living room was empty. So was the kitchen. I opened the cupboard where they kept board games, puzzles, decks of cards, and yes, the dare game. It looked innocent enough. A homemade deck, rubber banded together. Each card had neat, colorful handwriting. I flipped through it slowly. Dance in the yard, pretend to be a dog, sing your favorite song, scrub the stairs. I turned that one over. There was a small dent in the upper left corner, barely visible unless you were looking for it. The paper felt rough there, like it had been scraped against something. "Keep going. Wipe the windows." Same scratch. "Vacuum the hallway. Clean the toilet." That one had 2 scratches. I laid all the cards out on the coffee table. 35 dares. 13 of them were cleaning tasks. All 13 were marked. None of the fun ones were. I took photos of every single one, both sides. Then I rearranged the deck exactly as I found it, stood up, walked to the fridge, opened a soda, sat back down, and waited. Rachel walked in first, arms full of groceries. She looked surprised to see me, then annoyed. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "I have a game for you," I said. She narrowed her eyes. "What?" "A dare, just for fun." I gestured to the cards. "Pick one. If it's something fun, I'll keep helping with the mortgage. I'll double it. But if it's cleaning, I cut everything." She scoffed. "That's stupid." "Is it?" She crossed her arms. "They're all cleaning dares, obviously." I tilted my head. "Are they?" She didn't answer, because unless you're psychic, there's only one way to know that. I smiled. "You know which cards are which." She realized too late what she'd said. I leaned forward. "They're marked. You knew exactly what Mia was pulling because you stacked the deck." She said nothing. My mom came in then, frowning. "What's going on?" I turned to her. "Your granddaughter was cleaning Oliver's room for a dare while he sat playing video games. That's what's going on." "Oh, come on," she said. "It was just a game." "No," I said. "It was a setup." My mom rolled her eyes like I was overreacting. "They were just playing," she said. "No one forced her." "She's 11, I snapped, "and you watched it happen." She held my stare. "You're making something big out of nothing." There it was, the same dismissive shrug they'd always used when Rachel lied, when I cried, when Mia got left out. That flat, practiced tone, like I was the one being difficult. I didn't say another word. I stood up, gathered my phone, took one last glance at the cards laid out like an autopsy, and left the house without looking back. By the time I got home, my decision was made. I opened my banking app and canceled the transfer toward their mortgage, something I'd been helping with for almost 2 years. Then the grocery money I sent Rachel once a month. Then the school camp deposit I'd covered as a favor for one of her kids. Gone. Not out of revenge, just clarity. You don't get to exploit my daughter and still cash the checks. I didn't announce it. No angry texts, no long message about boundaries, just stopped. But silence has a way of speaking. By Monday morning, my phone lit up with a storm of passive-aggressive smoke signals. Rachel, did the payment bounce or did you forget again? Rachel, call me. Urgent. Rachel, wow, so you're really cutting off your own family over a card game? You need help. Then it hit the family group chat. The big one. The one with cousins, aunts, extended relatives who only message twice a year unless there's gossip. Rachel in the group. Kara is no longer supporting mom and dad. Apparently she's mad about a game Mia played and has decided to punish everyone. Just letting people know what's going on before the rumors start. Immediately, the side comments rolled in. Cousin Lisa, seriously? That seems extreme. Uncle Rob, over a game? Come on. I sat there reading in silence, letting it build, letting them believe the version that made me look unhinged. And then I dropped the photos. I didn't say much, just a short clinical post. Kara, for anyone wondering, Mia pulled 5 chore dares in a row while the other kids got fun ones. We found 13 cleaning dares in the deck. All 13 were marked on the back. None of the fun ones were. She was set up. She was tricked into 5 hours of labor and told she couldn't eat because her cleaning wasn't good enough, while adults watched. Just so we're clear. Attached were the pictures, each dare front and back, the scratches, the patterns. Then it began. Cousin Lisa, wait, what? Uncle Rob, that's disgusting. Aunt Marcy, I'm so sorry, Kara, I had no idea. Cousin James, man, that's not a game. That's just mean. One by one, the likes rolled in. One by one, Rachel's defenders went quiet. She didn't respond. Not in the group, not privately, not at all. But I could picture her reading it, seeing the tide shift, watching people who used to nod along turn their backs. Good. Let her sit with that. Let her think about how easy it was to manipulate a child who just wanted to belong, and how impossible it will be to manipulate me now. Because I'm done. Done funding them. Done playing nice. Done pretending this was just a misunderstanding. And Mia? She's not crying anymore. She saw the photos too. She saw how people reacted, and for the first time, I think she truly understood what they did wasn't her fault. She didn't lose a game. They lost a good kid. And I'm just getting started. It was 2 days later. All 4 of them stood on my front step. Wait, Tyler, Layla, Oliver. Layla looked embarrassed. Tyler looked annoyed. Oliver stared at the ground. Rachel smiled like nothing was wrong. We came to apologize, she said. Right, kids? One by one, they muttered it. I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. They couldn't even look at me. And they didn't have to say it outright. I could see it in their faces. They knew the game was rigged. They knew exactly what they were doing. And they let her clean anyway. I crossed my arms. You should say that to Mia. She's inside? Rachel asked, already leaning in. She'll come out when she's ready. A minute later, Mia appeared behind me, calm, steady. Okay, she said. I'll forgive you if you clean our house like I cleaned yours. All of it. And Oliver gets to do my room. The floor's gross. Real sticky. Oliver blanched. They looked at me. I nodded. Rachel opened her mouth, closed it, then said, Fine. The next 5 hours were magic. Layla gagged while scrubbing the downstairs toilet. Tyler mumbled complaints while vacuuming corners he didn't know existed. Oliver emerged from Mia's room, sweating and ghost-faced, after discovering the horror that is a preteen girl's sock drawer. Rachel tried to clean the windows and got Windex in her eye. I didn't laugh out loud. Mia supervised like a queen in fuzzy slippers. I made popcorn. It was objectively the best afternoon I've had in years. When they finally finished, flushed, blotchy, and exhausted, Mia looked at them and said simply, Hey, I forgive you. Rachel let out a breath like she'd been holding it for 2 weeks. Then she looked at me. So we're good now, right? You'll restart the support? I raised an eyebrow. What support? The mortgage, the groceries, the camp trip. Oh, I said, no. She blinked. But we said sorry. We cleaned. I said I forgive you. I said Mia did too. But forgiveness doesn't mean I fund your lifestyle. She stared at me. I stared back. It was quiet for a few beats. Then she gathered her purse, muttered something I didn't catch, and her little troop filed out like a defeated conga line. I shut the door behind them, locked it, turned around. Mia was already curled up on the couch, remote in hand. What are we watching? I asked. Something with explosions, she said. I tossed her a blanket and joined her on the couch. Good. I'm in the mood to watch things fall apart. We didn't talk about what happened again that day. We didn't have to, 'cause it was over, and for once, we were the ones holding the cards. It's been 8 months. We're low contact now. Technically, they haven't reached out again, probably because they know I won't fund their chaos anymore. Last I heard, Rachel picked up a part-time job she hates, and the whole household has been struggling to keep up with the bills. I don't lose sleep over it. Mia's fine. More than fine, actually. She's got clearer boundaries than most adults I know, and a room of her own that no one dares assign chores in. As for me, I still work double shifts sometimes, but when I come home, there's no guilt tripping, no manipulation, and no games. Just quiet and peace. But tell me, did I go too far or not far enough? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe.